List files recursively showing only full path and file size from Windows command prompt. I am trying to generate a text file containing the file name, including full path, and file size for all files in a particular directory and any of its subdirectories, i.e. recursively. Ideally, I don't want commas in the file size, but I'll settle for them. The following command does it but without the file size. An example output would look like: I don't think this is possible using dir alone, although I would love to be proved wrong. Is there another way to do this, using only commands that are available from the command prompt?
This should do it. It's not very efficient. Running it for folders containing a ton of files may be sketchy, so try it on small folders first. From the /help text, I used A instead of I.
Alternative number 1, for slasher is more intuitive than number 2 for me. Alternative number 2, for /f fixes the problem with spaces in names in Brian Adkins' suggestion. Alternative number 3, 4 files would be my pick except that the path is in double quotes. Brian or other gurus may have a more elegant solution or may be able to suggest a dozen other solutions, but these 3 work. I tried using for tokens but then had to strip headers and footers, so I reverted back to number 1. I also considered creating a small bat file and calling it, but that adds another file, although it does provide greater flexibility, as would a function. I tested all alternatives with directory and file names with embedded spaces, a 200+ character file name, a file name with no extension, and en route of a small drive, just for time, a little slow, just as Brian suggested. But then so is searching in Windows Explorer, that is why I installed Everything Search app. Alternative number 1, for /r. Best? While trying to figure out why Brian's solution didn't work for me, I looked at help for and decided to try the /r approach. Creating a file would be the same as in alternative number 2. Example, works, different directory than above to demonstrate recursion. Alternative number 2, for /f. Brian Adkins suggested, add echo off an amp, for /f% a in, dir /s/v, do echo %tilde far %tilde za. A corrected answer is a more complete answer with directories suppressed and output appended to a file is Note, dilims equals specifies a character not allowed in file names. Note, second command also suppresses directories via /a, d. Note, made the for variable name uppercase to clarify the distinction between variable and variable parameters if someone chooses different variable names. Note, appended to file just for grins as the op asked for output to a file. I suppose I should really check the status of echo and reset it as well. Issue, spaces in names. Brian's proposed solution does not handle file and folder names containing spaces, at least not on my Vista configuration. Example, wrong, without dilims, Include suppressing directory per op but with size both before and after file name for emphasis. Truncated name and size, 4 of 6 files incorrect. Example, correct. Note output to screen, not appended to file. Alternative number 3, 4 files, quote issue. This solution is straight from the last 2 examples in the 4 files documentation. 4 files, question mark. Combining these examples and writing to a file yields the answer, almost. Note that the path is in quotes in the output. Does not matter whether echo on or echo off is toggled. Adding a blank line separating each directory would be a trivial extension of the if. Caution, using the mask /m dot will not return files without extension, like last file and example. Aside, this writes a file in each directory with contents of just that directory. 4 files /s/ccmd/c if it isdir equals false echo at path at size and gt semicolon and gt. 4 filler subout.txt, not what the op wanted but sometimes handy. Example, works, but with full path in quotes. This example includes an extra directory with a super long file name and a file name with no extension. Issue, path in quotes. So, is there an easy way to remove the unwanted quotes for the op example and save alternative number 3, 4 files? Rhetorical question, are the quotes a feature or a flaw?
I find the do command pretty helpful and it works on both Windows and Unix. Use it to check if all files were copied when transferring lots of data from a Windows PC to a Linux web server. Outputs. However, I could only correctly see the special characters in Notepad, not in Notepad++. Must be some ANSI/UTF-8 encoding thing. No time to analyze exactly right now. Also, I didn't find a solution to display the size after the file name. Use the B or K options instead of H to display size in bytes or kilobytes. I had some trouble when running the command outside the folder that I want to analyze. So best both enter the command in the right directory, C:\your_dir in this example, and specifying it in the command.
This may be cheating on the ops question. However, the question is no longer relevant on modern Windows-based systems. The dir alias was used to help draw the logical link.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.